Hello friends, my name is the Red Wizard. I am a spiritual medium, educator, and visual artist. And in this video, I'm going to answer the question, who is Buddha? And I'm going to answer it in the most sincere and simple way that I can. As a spiritual medium, the things that I share in this channel are things that I've experienced for myself. These are things that don't necessarily come from just dogmatic or scriptural interpretations. I've been practicing mysticism for over 20 years now, and in my previous video I explained who Jesus Christ was, and I feel like it really segues nicely into who is Buddha. I'm going to start with something that I wrote because I'm working on a book. I'm somewhat of a poet, so. Who is Buddha? Like Christ, Buddha did not create enlightenment. He discovered it within himself as his true nature. Because bliss is your true nature. Because bliss is your true nature. No effort or exertion is required. So Buddha just sat beneath a tree. He did nothing. The most powerful act is to render to the stillness that you already are. Because I teach spirituality and because I'm a visual artist, one of my pet peeves, one of the things I love, but one of my pet peeves is like spiritual art or sacred art. So many artists for hundreds, thousands of years have made beautiful works of art showing like statues of Buddha, paintings of Buddha, tapestries of Buddha as this enlightened being sitting under a tree with all the birds and woodland animals surrounding him and being in this like peaceful and blissful state. That's a really limiting belief for us because many of us think that to become enlightened, we have to be like, oh, and like one with the universe, one with the world, one with everything. And when we walk around, we're going to be like a glowing golden statue like the Buddha. And all the birds are going to land on our shoulders and everyone will see and look at us and understand how peaceful and blissed out we are. This isn't the case. When Buddha went under the tree, and so like, having said that, many of us Americans have this like intro to social studies, global studies of what Buddhism is, and we learn what Buddhism is. We learn what Buddha is in a paragraph or two in our textbook. Buddha was a prince who gave up on everything and sat under the tree and became enlightened and created Buddhism. So, boys and girls, I tell you this, when Buddha went under the tree, he just let go. Simply gave up. And that's it. Buddha went under the tree, gave up. Let go. Effortless. Not a process. Just the turning of perception or perspective. That's what he did. He didn't go under the tree, sit there like, and like create hundreds of texts and scriptures and prayers and traditions and disciplines. All of that stuff came after. Right? Just like Jesus didn't, like build all these cathedrals and come up with all these embroideries for the Pope to wear and stuff like that. No way. The truth is much more simple than that. Every single mystical experience I've ever had has always pointed to a much more simple reality. And the reality is this. You are consciousness. Everything else is just a temporary state of consciousness. Whether it's a title, your body, your job, your tasks, what you're doing, where you live. Everything else is temporary. The true immortal self is the pure awareness, the pure consciousness that you are. So when Buddha went under the tree, he didn't formulate a whole bunch of stuff for us to do. It was not a task of a great intellectual feat. It was, in fact, the opposite. The reason why these spiritual teachers seem to speak in parables is because they're trying to point to something that can't be put into words. I try to in every single one of these videos. You are consciousness. What the heck does that mean? Consciousness is such a big word. You are pure awareness. Who you are cannot be put into words because words occur in consciousness. Okay? So, the greatest teaching of Buddha was sitting down and being still. Just like in the Bible, it says, be still and know that I am. I am. Any single thought you have emerges from you. Right? So don't confuse yourself with what you think you are, because your thoughts could not exist without you first. The Buddha sat down and let go. There's a park down the street from my house that my kids and I walk to, and some generous patron of the neighborhood has this nice, solid, sturdy stone statue of the Buddha sitting in the front yard. And no matter what season it is, no matter how cold, how much snow, how much rain, how hot, Buddha doesn't move. Whether there's bird crap on it or leaves, Buddha doesn't move. Consciousness doesn't move. It's always there. Awareness doesn't require preparation, effort. It simply is. Buddha revealed to us that who we are fundamentally, he used this word emptiness. And in the West, when we think of empty, we give it in this negative context like it's a state of lacking. But I ask you this, well, I tell you this, an empty cup is a useful cup. A blank screen is required to project the movie onto. A blank page is required for us to write our story on it. So this emptiness, which is another word for this pure consciousness that you are, this pure awareness, the emptiness is required for all this other phenomena to happen. And when you become self-realized, you realize that, because your self is another term for this pure awareness, all phenomena is just that. It's just things that are occurring in consciousness, or it's almost like consciousness is the fire and phenomena is the smoke that is the necessary outcome of the fire. You can't have a fire without smoke, right? So in this infinite consciousness, this infinite awareness that you are, there's this like infinite potential, and phenomena occurs. So who is Buddha? Buddha was like Christ. He discovered his true identity as being one with the divine. And Buddha and Christ in and of themselves are not special. They're not different than you. These were both ordinary men who realized their divinity. And you can realize your divinity just like them. There's no difference between you and them. They just figured out sooner than you, and they were able to provide teachings for us. All right, so you are the Buddha, you are Christ. You just haven't realized it yet, just a little distracted. Never think once that it can't happen for you either. Okay? Thanks for being here. Remember, love is the truth of who you are. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to go deeper, you can check out my free 3-video class called Unlock Peace, Energy, and Clarity. You can find the class at realpeacenow.net. That is realpeacenow.net, or you could just click the link in the description below. If you'd like some personal guidance, you can also book a private reading with me as a spiritual medium. Details for that are in the description too. Wishing you peace. And remember, love is the truth of who you are.